Good Wednesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. You made it to the middle of the week. It's Wednesday, last I checked, and yes, we're now getting closer to the weekend. But you know what today is? Today's one of those special days that if you've been kind of cooped up inside because the air conditioning is the only place you can find relief, Mother Nature may actually give us a little bit of a break today. We're not going to get into the 90s. In fact, yesterday was 95, but I don't think we're going to hit that hot. We're going to be a lot cooler today in the mid-80s, generally 85 to 87. I think it's a good range for most of us, but you can see there's not too much in the world of visibility. We're not too worried about the conditions as far as patches of fog. There are some gray areas in the Smokies and into western North Carolina, maybe 7 miles reduction there, but that could be more clouds in Oneida. Temperatures do vary quite a bit. You wouldn't know it from these numbers, although Crossville is kind of like the canary in the coal mine. Cumberland County, they're at 64 degrees, while it's 75. Both Knoxville and Oak Ridge, what is going on? And 77 at Severo, that's a variability. And you'll notice while it may be closer to 80 in Newport, it's only 66 in Jamestown. So there's a difference from west to east in terms of temperature, and the dew points also correspond west to east. It's a lot drier, less humid west in the plateau than it is right now in places east of, say, Knox County. I'm looking at Morristown, 77, Greenville, 75. You throw in those dew points, and it actually feels a lot better in places like Jamestown because the dew point's 10 degrees cooler. It's 62 degrees dew point in Jamestown, but 72 Morristown. So this is going to be the pattern for the rest of the day, becoming a little bit less humid, not as hot. Temperatures generally between 85 and 87 today. I think you're going to like the way today looks. And if you're on the call, let me know. I'll do my best to magnify your voice because I could do that with the comments. I want to say good morning to Fred. Fred's on here. I put Fred on here. Say hello, Fred. Fred is on here. He says, good morning, David. It's a little breezy in Maryville. Thank you so much. And I got a note from Steven Snyder, who has been dealing with a loss of power. He's in Houston with East Tennessee Connections. He says, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Got a note from Shauna. I think it's Shauna Thompson. She's saying good morning. She keeps it real brief. She just put the GM. I love it. And last but not least, I want to say hi to Steve Stone. He's on YouTube. He's got the good morning. He's also got the big old sunshine and the happy face. So happy to have you all here as we continue to watch what's going on. I want to come back on camera for a moment because I have some notes to share with you. Yesterday, we hit 95. That's the 8th day of this month. In the 90s. We'll explore that here momentarily. We started off yesterday morning at 74. The normal high and low now is 89 and 69. I don't even think we'll get to 89. It's clearly mid-80s, so a cooler day is expected. 101 from 1936. The record high for today, and the record low 51 from 1961. We did have, by the way, if you go back to Monday from Beryl, we had 16 tornadoes on Monday, July the 8th. Those were in places like Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And then yesterday there were 4 tornadoes reported. Kentucky, New Mexico, and Indiana. So there you have it. So you have a little bit of interesting weather situations as far as the tornadoes, but clearly we did not have that impact here in East Tennessee. Let's talk about the radar. Did you know it rained in some spots last night? Oh yes, in addition to the wind that we heard from Fred a moment ago, you can see from the ultimate Doppler radar, I don't see any drops of rain now. Maybe a hint there, maybe in the Smokies, but I don't think that's even verifying. It is 6:45 right now. 6:45, although my clock is just now catching up. But you can see this is all presented by our local Marco's Pizza, which we'll look at here momentarily. But let's rewind the tape. Let's go back about 8 hours. Do you see these green dots? Oh, yeah, rolled right through La Follette. If you're in Campbell County and suddenly there's some raindrops on your windshield, that's why. It came in at like 2 in the morning. Well, 3 in the morning. Look at that. Jellicoe got a passing shower. Some of you are like, it never rains. Well, sometimes when it rains while you're asleep, it didn't count. Well, it did count. It just, you didn't notice it, and that's what I wanted to give you a review. So that's what's nice about having that review on screen. By the way, Marco's Pizza has locations in Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville, Fountain City, Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Simply go to marcos.com. They give back quite a bit to the local community. They are corporate sponsors of No Kid Hungry. And if you are hungry at this lunch hour coming up, maybe you may suggest the large pepperoni pizza. They call it a Magnifico, less than $10. There's also a great lunch item they call the Pozzoli. I call it fantastic, but pepperoni and sausage is my favorite. For a limited time, you can get it for less than $6. Pretty cool. Now, as far as the rain, I'm not going to see much of it today. But the byproduct is, as this front moves across the area, we'll go from southwest winds to northwest winds during the course of today. And don't be surprised if we have gusts 20 to maybe as high as 25 miles per hour. That's certainly to be possible on the table. As the rain recaps here, you can see a couple of showers from the I-75 corridor around 2 or 3 in the morning. But there hasn't been much to see since then. If you can see to the east, it's from D.C. to New York City. They're dealing with excessive heat. So I'm sure the national media will be all about what they're dealing with, excessive heat from D.C. To Philadelphia, all the way into New Jersey and New York City. But we will be dealing with nice, humid, free weather, right? Less humid, temperatures about 87 degrees for Knoxville. More rain from Burl affecting areas of Michigan this morning, all the way up to Buffalo, New York. More thunderstorms in parts of Louisiana, while they've got more heated concerns from Houston, even in sections of Florida. So that's the big picture this morning. Want to say a good morning to you. If you're on the call, let me know. I'll do my best to share with you. By the way, here's the extended almanac. If you're playing the home game version, we've had 3 days in a row of 95, 95, 96, 95, like mid-90s. You could even throw in Saturdays, mid-90s. But still, the hottest day was the 4th of July. It was hot like a firecracker. It tied the 1993 record of 97. So we tied a record high last Thursday on Independence Day. I got a note from Wanda Poe. She's on YouTube. Let's say hi to Wanda. Wanda says, good morning, David. Hope to be a good day for ones with breathing problems to get out. I hope so. I hope that if you are getting out, you're doing it in the morning rather than the middle of the afternoon, because if you plan accordingly, the middle of the afternoon you could plan your grocery shopping, because I know the air conditioning works well there, or hang out at the library if your air conditioning doesn't work as well as it could or should. But wanted to thank you for that note. Marilyn Bell's also on here. I want to say good morning to her. She's also saying, hey, have a great Wednesday, everyone. Stay hydrated if you're outside. So absolutely, today's going to be a better day to load up, because we're going to have another hot stretch going into the upcoming weekend. But I digress. If you're playing the home game version, we've had 22 days so far this year. We had 2 weeks in June. So we have now surpassed, we have now eclipsed all of 2023. And the way things are going, if we continue this into August, which we explore on the premium side, Captain Accurate Premium, we look about 30 days or so down the road. So we think there will be some pullbacks, but I don't think it's going to be in the short term. So be prepared. Outside of today, today's kind of like an anomaly. Today is one of those special days that I hope you'll be outside as much as you can. Now, the most ever recorded 90-degree days goes back to 1936. We had 78 days. I think the lowest we've ever had was 5. But that was in the early 1900s. We've had as little as 11 when it was very rainy in 2013. So if you get a lot of rain, you don't get up to 90. It stays humid, but only 11 days at 90 plus back in 2013. So just to recap, this is not to be a surprise or an alarm system here. July typically gives us 12 days. That's the average. I didn't make that number up. That comes from the National Weather Service in Morristown. We average 34. So, I mean, some years are more than 34, some are less. Last year was less. This year's going to be more. But 22 days so far. We had 0 days in May. 7 days is the average in June, and clearly we were twice the average in the month of June. We started off and finished very hot in the month of June for sure. But we can get 10 days average in August and 4 days in September if that helps you plan. Oh boy. Talk about the winds. Fred's right on the money. Look at that. We got a 21-mile-an-hour wind at McGee-Tyson and a 13-mile-an-hour wind in Morristown. There must be a front coming through. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. In fact, that's why the winds are kicking up a little bit. So you'll feel a little bit of a breeze, and it might actually feel refreshing when it comes from the northwest later today. So very happy that you're here. By the way, 78 current temperature. Johnson City, while it's 68, 10 degrees cooler in Memphis this morning. Want to say a shout out to you if you're on the call. Some notes I've mentioned. Wanda's on here. I see Yolanda. Let's say good morning to Yolanda. She's on here. She's calling referencing from Cumberland County. Good morning to you, Yolanda. Glad to have you here. I've also mentioned Fred's on here and Steve Stone and Marilyn Bell. Oh, Janet Potts also giving us a good weather report in Talbot, since we are on the temperature map. Talbot's, they've got 76 degrees. And she's also rather breezy. Thank you, Janet, for the update, because I appreciate that, as do those who are watching live. By the way, it's 6:51. My goal is to be done in 9 minutes or less. I think I can name that tune. Been watching that show a couple days now. 63 in Knoxville, 66 Memphis, and with dew points in the low 70s, Johnson City. The real sticky air is in the Carolinas right now, because that front is trying to sweep on through from west to east. Feels like it's 81 Johnson City, 82 Charlotte, but it only feels like 63 in Memphis. So the feels like temperature really won't be much of a factor for us today. I want to show you the humidity, and again, everything's relative this time of the year. I mean, dark green versus light green. It's like pick your favorite type of air mass. But the real sticky weather you can see there in dark green is in Raleigh and Charlotte through the 8 o'clock hour this morning, and there are some thin spots. So in noontime, it may still feel good, and temperatures in the mid-80s. So this is perfect. 5 o'clock, you're like, man, this is awesome. And tonight, it's going to actually feel wonderful. You might just add the word ah. Tonight, ah, because it'll be mostly clear and less humid. We're down to about 66 tonight. That's Knoxville. It'll be even cooler in places like Cumberland County, Wartburg, Jamestown, and points westward. So again, tracking the humidity really disappears 5 o'clock this afternoon, if it hasn't already. By 11:30 tonight, it's a little stickier in Nashville, but it'll ebb and flow. This is to be expected. It is summertime. What more can we expect? Tomorrow will be a hotter day. I expect 91 with maybe a touch more humidity. But then we move into Friday and into the weekend. You can fully expect that the green ooze will ooze on back to a town near you. So we'll be expecting more in the way of stickiness and stuffy air. Tracking the clouds right through 6:50 this morning, you can see there are some patches of clouds. The winds have picked up, and the sun did come up at 6:28 this morning, just a few minutes ago, but sun will be setting now at 8:54, much like it did yesterday. So we can call spots of rain in there. That's still possible with some of the clouds, but it's not hot. We'll just call it warm. The normal high this time of year is 89, so we're going to be a little bit cooler than average. And if you're heading out the door in the next few minutes, today is July the 10th. Where did the time go? Yeah, we got temperatures in the mid-70s, holding fairly steady between now and 10 o'clock. Might not move much. That's because the passage of the front. By 2 o'clock, we should be in the low 80s and finishing the day about 85 for Morristown, 88 for Athens, 87 for Maryville, Alcoa, Oak Ridge, and Knoxville, and about 81 for Crossville. The Hurricane Center not showing any areas of concern. Is that a concern? No, not really, given the fact we just had Burl. So it's like we're just waiting for the tropics to lock and reload. It typically does in August and September, usually early September. September 10th is historically the peak, so it should not be a surprise to you that if we start to see crazy number of storms, like pop, 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 so start to show up later on in August and September. Debbie, Ernesto, and Francine are the next 3 names on the list. We'll be watching for that in the days and weeks to come. Cooler today in quotation marks, less humid tonight, and very hot to end the week. Does that surprise you? Very hot weather certainly coming into play. I got someone from Cumberland County wanting to say hello. Kelly says good morning, Tennessee. Kelly, glad to have you here. Glad to have you watching and be able to put you on the screen. But we're talking about very hot air. Upper 90s will be on the table heading into this weekend. Right now we have 75 degrees. All of a sudden the winds have kicked up. Whoosh, 21 miles an hour. It's like a rock me like a hurricane. Well, not exactly. Not exactly. Burl is up toward Detroit, or the leftovers of Burl. We're just dealing with the passage of a cold front, and I say that in quotation marks because, again, all things are relative. Dew point has a comfortable 63. Normally, if this were autumn, 63 would be humid. But this is summer, and squarely in July of summer, yeah, it's not actually that humid, all things considered. So here's the Valley Planner at 6:55. Look and pick out your favorite time period. If you're doing errands, we're still in the 70s right through about 1 o'clock. And still, by the time we hit the rest of the day, we're struggling to get to that 85 to 87 range. So the range of temperature, generally 85 to 87 across the area. I've left some spots of rain in the forecast for this morning. Not as hot, and a little bit less humid, all things considered. Normal high is 89 degrees. Here's your precipitation chances. 20% if that's generous, might be more like 10, so don't expect much today. And really don't see any rain chances really coming back into play until early to mid next week. Storm Prediction Center, we're talking colors that many of you probably have memorized now. You know that the dark green typically means isolated, and you know that the yellow is scattered severe storms. And there are going to be some numerous areas in New England, at least upstate New York, where they have numerous severe storms. One patch of that dark green area takes us down toward Texas and New Mexico, where they may have in the Lubbock area some isolated severe storms. But by far and away, the most active weather today in the country should be between Syracuse, Utica, and Ithaca. So I can't rule out Rochester, where I used to live for 4 years, Buffalo, New York. Some of that could be, again, spawned a little bit by the remnants of Burl. But Albany, New York, Binghamton, Elmira, there's even some isolated severe storm potential from Baltimore, D.C., Philadelphia, all the way up toward Boston. But we're going to have quiet weather here, really ho-hum weather, but I think we're okay with that. Thursday, a couple of patches of green would be in the Phoenix, Tucson area for isolated storms on Thursday. Rapid City, South Dakota, some areas in western Nebraska could also get an isolated severe storm tomorrow. Nothing going on in East Tennessee on Thursday. Got lots of sunshine. And we'll continue on this ho-hum pattern for Friday, as we've got dry weather on Friday. Again, no concern for thunder of any kind within striking distance here. So Futurecast shows the front coming into town. Look at that, 8 o'clock. Really kicks in. Again, the winds are kicking up ahead of the front now, but by midday, those winds should be more southwest to northwest. It'll be changing direction from the northwest at the end of the day, and the humidity will fall accordingly. Heading into tonight, it's mostly clear, less humid, and we'll notice that a lot of these green dots are just going to be some model noise. I don't expect any rain here. There might be some near southern Indiana, back maybe towards Cincinnati and Louisville, but outside of that, it's a pretty quiet pattern and low pressure hugging the coast, which means the beaches may be dealing with more showers on and off along the east coast from that very slow-moving storm system there. But let's talk about the temperatures where you live. You've got 75 at starting point here in Knoxville. By 9:30, it might drop a degree, may not move much. And lunchtime, oh my goodness, it's not even 80 in many cases, right? 79. Normally it's like 85, 87 at lunchtime. Not today. In fact, that's our finishing point. 87 will be the way I think we'll end the day. But temperatures by 4 o'clock, about 85 Oak Ridge, about 87 Knoxville to finish out the afternoon by 5 o'clock today. If you've got a comment, let me know. I've got Alice on here. Let's say good morning to Alice. Alice says good morning. She's on here. Happy to have you on Facebook, and I'm glad to have you letting us know what's going on. I got Wanda on YouTube saying we need to do a rain dance. I think you're in line with what everybody else is thinking, Wanda. I think people would love to get some rain showers. Some of you might have gotten a brief shower last night, but again, that was pretty limited in maybe Campbell County and some surrounding counties early this morning, like 2 or 3 a.m. By the time we hit tonight, here's where things get really nice and comfortable. You might want to, I'm not saying you should, but you might want to crack the window if that's your thing, because temperatures tonight, tomorrow morning, will drop into the lower to mid 60s. 61 Knoxville, 66 Knoxville, 61 Crossville, and about 61 for Middlesboro in Bell County. Tomorrow afternoon, it does get warmer. We go into the midday hour on Thursday. It's already 83. That's about 5 degrees, 6 degrees warmer than it will be today at noon. And we'll finish Thursday afternoon in the lower 90s. So 91 comes back. Humidity is tolerable. It's not off the chart, but it will get obviously a lot stickier heading into this upcoming weekend. So let's get to the forecast. It's 6:59, a little bit less humid, hazy sun, and some clouds. Spots of rain possible. I don't expect storms at this point. 5 to 10 plus for winds, could easily gust over 20-25. We're seeing that wind kick up right now at McGee Tyson. Today, look for a high of 84 for Wartburg, 85 for Morristown, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, 83. And if you're in Seymour, Dandridge, about 87. Jefferson City, 85. About 88. Athens, and 88. For Rockwood, Kinks, and Harriman, a very nice and pleasant afternoon, all things considered. But if you are still a fan of the mid-90s, I can direct you to Columbia, South Carolina. They'll be around 97 today. Roanoke, Virginia should be in the mid-90s at 95 with the possibility of more storms. So tonight it's Tonight it's say it with me, 66. Mostly clear, a less humid day, and you're going to love this map. The next map, 61. Yay, I love 61 for Jamestown. I'm jealous. Oneida, 61 tomorrow morning. What a sweet morning that'll be. Tonight, tomorrow morning, you could just clump as one time frame. But after midnight, we're going to be cooling into the lower to mid 60s. I'd say that's pretty sweet. Hopefully you will be enjoying every stretch of that time frame first thing tomorrow morning, because you'll have reason to get up if you like the low humidity. That's certainly on the table for tonight. Let's get to the Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. This is now 7:01. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. Notice the warming trend. 91 on Thursday, 96 on Friday, and that's not a misprint. 97, 98, and we hold there. There will be heat indices, probably well over 105. I wouldn't be surprised with dew points in the low to mid 70s. We're going to be talking about heat advisories. I'm not going to put words in the mouth of the National Weather Service, but I'm going to assume there's going to be some heat advisory. When you've got this over here in the low to mid 70s, and you got this in the upper 90s, there's going to be some heat indices well over 105, and it's going to trigger, I'm sure, some heat advisories. So just bank on it, assume it's going to happen. Now the question is, what are you going to do to prepare for it? Because you have today to prepare mentally, and maybe if it requires a phone call to your favorite heating and air conditioning company, you might want to check them out. Give them a call because they could give you some guidance. 20% chance of rain and storms on Monday. Best chance of rain looks like it's going to be Tuesday, but I'll revisit that later this afternoon. So very thankful for you. By the way, lightning alerts. Are you aware that you can get lightning alerts right to your phone with the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic? You get all the National Weather Service alerts. We don't shortchange you there. You get all those. Plus, you get 3 extras from Barron, which are second to none, and it's free. Did you say it's free? Yeah, it's free. I thought you charge. I do for premium, but the app is free. And you get the lightning alerts if you're a grandma, granddad, mamaw, papaw. You keep an eye on the grandkids this summer at the neighborhood pool. You want to have the alerts come to your phone so you can get the kids out of the pool if there's a storm within 15 miles of your location. Now, if you are in need of extra weather information, I created over a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years ago this Halloween, beyond the next 7 days. We focus on like 30 days into the future. We do a lot of in-depth map analysis, as it were, each and every day. So check us out. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button on my Facebook page, or just go to CaptainAccurate.com for more details. You're the first, the very first, to see every forecast. We've got something special planned too. More Facebook Lives for our premium members, and dare I say, fewer ads for our premium members. So they see fewer ads, but they get more content, usually 15 to 20 posts a day. They do see quite a bit more than what most everybody else sees. So if you want to check us out, love to have you. And we've got something special planned around that new movie. Oh, do you know there's a movie? It's called Twisters. It's the sequel to the 1996 blockbuster. We've got something special planned. And if you're a premium member, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But join us. We've got some great gatherings, free Marco's Pizza for all who want to join our group. We've got lots of cool things to offer. So I encourage you to check us out. Only $4.99 a month. That's 16 cents a day. What a bargain. East Tennessee's best weather bargain. No doubt. All you have to do is hit subscribe. We'd love to have you. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.